an even more phenomenal baseball player. Takes after his mama's side of the family. Brian asked me to say a few words, and so I sat down today and I asked the Lord what to say. Brian's name, Brian, means strong. That's what the word means. And Brian, as we know, is physically strong. I think he can bench press a house or a car or something. But you know, Brian is not only physically strong, Brian is emotionally and mentally strong. Brian's going through a lot of adversity in his life. He lost his mom when he was very young, who was my sister. And that changed my life. I think it changed his too. I know Jeannie would be so proud. I'm a little boy today. He's not so little anymore. I looked at Brian's name, Brian, and I wanted to do an acronym of it. P, Brian is brave. You don't become a law enforcement agency, especially wildlife and fisheries, where you got to strap on a gun and go at nighttime in a basin. Brian is brave. R, Brian is real. He's the real deal. What you see is what you get. You don't have to guess what Brian's thinking. He'll tell you in a second. Brian is not a float-on, right? And he don't have a cowboy hat, but he's the real deal. We might have to get him a cowboy hat. The next letter in Brian is I, and Brian is intelligent. Brian not only has a criminal justice degree and a lot of trainings from everything from the FBI on down, but he has a master's of public administration. The other guys don't have that. A, Brian is able. He's an able law enforcement officer. He's going to be an able, educated administrator. And most importantly, Brian is an able people person. And that means probably the most out of all those things. Brian's going to be a people person in the sheriff department. And finally, the last letter is N. Brian is not a politician. Politics, the word, politic. Poly means many, and a tick is a blood-sucking creature. That's what politics means, right? So it's true. People say, well, you're a politician. I said, I'm not. I'm a public servant. I want to tell you, the last thing we need in the sheriff department is a politician. Brian's not a politician. So I want to ask you, as Brian's godfather, as Brian's uncle, I want to ask you to pray for Brian. I want to ask you to give to Brian. And I want to ask you to vote for Brian. Because he's going to be brave, real, intelligent, able, and he's not a politician. Brian Theriot, your next sheriff.
Wow, that's pretty good, Mike. Yeah, I have to follow that now. But for those of you who've never heard anything about my background, first of all, born and raised St. Martin Parish. Through some circumstances, I had an uncle who was coaching at Catholic High in New Iberia. I lost my mom young. My dad was a state trooper. You know, we didn't have a lot of disposable income, if you know what I mean. And we were fortunate enough where circumstances dictated and allowed me to attend Catholic High School in New Iberia, where I met some of the best friends that any man could ever wish for. And one of the families were the Lipris, with the patriarch being Mr. Lenny Lipri and the matriarch, Miss Robin Lipri. Please give my name for me. And, you know, Brian and I were best friends, and Mark was a little bit younger, and Michael was way young, and we used to beat on Mark and beat on Michael, and I think I helped mold them into what they are today. Thank you, welcome. But, you know, went to college, played baseball, and never really knew what I wanted to do. Really knew I always wanted to be a game warden, but I let the financial side of things deter me from doing that. Started with my Uncle Curly, who's here tonight, in the airboat business and made some money, did well. But I was never really satisfied from an occupational standpoint. And one of my good friends who was a wildlife agent, he said, man, you need to come with us. And with my father being a state trooper, you know, we had all the opportunities in the world to go to state police, but that's really wasn't a real fulfilling choice for me. So we had some contacts, we applied, we got accepted. I want to say when I was accepted to Wildlife and Fisheries, out of a class of 25 that were accepted, I want to say we had almost 500 applicants to be Louisiana wildlife agents. That was a very sought after job and a very poorly paying job. I knew I wasn't going to get rich, but it was a calling. Public service has always been a calling, something I wanted to do. And man, when I started in '99, I just fell right into it and I loved it. I continued to go to school through it all. I got my criminal justice degree from UL in Lafayette. Got the call, got a promotion to Baton Rouge where I was promoted to the rank of lieutenant. And I was in charge of the training academy and training all of the wildlife agents throughout the state of Louisiana. I was blessed to be able to attend LSU at night, where I received my master's degree in public administration, which is basically running a public entity like that of the sheriff's office, from the human resource function to policy implementation to governmental budgeting and budget forecasting. Everything that it takes to run a public entity, that's what my degree is. Also, I was the department liaison to the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. I was an FBI IDC instructor. I'm a graduate of the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glen Cove, Georgia. Many other certifications. As most of you know,